Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to our Green Cities Challenge playthrough. So, last time out we kind of messed around a little bit with some of our new district policies, but we now have plenty of cash on hand. We're going to get rid of a couple of these coal plants and replace them with a new, more eco-friendly one to help cut down on pollution. Let me just see how much these produce. They produce 40 megawatts of power. It's not that much, is it? We're going to look at installing one of these geothermal plants. Now these produce 80 megawatts, so two of these will replace all four of those. We don't have enough money for two of them yet, but they are much, much cleaner, healthier versions of a power plant. So Bedford Hills is a little bit of a mess over here, but let's look at bringing some side roads off to expand the district a little bit. Let's go there. There we go. And in terms of power, these are quite long, as you can see. They need to go widthways that way. The slope is too steep, so I'm going to try terraforming that land flat a little bit. So let's level out this terrain. Eat away that bit of extra soil over there. This is going to cost us a bit of cash, so we need to be careful we don't eat up all of the money we were going to use to buy those thermal power plants. Should be enough. And let's go in, and will it fit now? Oh yes, it will. Excellent stuff. So we'll stick one in just there. And have I got enough for another one? Not yet, but we'll stick another one in next door to it as well. Let's get rid of two of these now. And I also need to make sure that these are actually connected up to our power grid, which they're not at the moment. There we go. So again, we're getting power issues simply because we're not supplying enough power. Now that the generator is hooked up, power problems are resolved. And look at that, we've only got a tiny little bit of pollution sickness now. In fact, a tiny little bit of sickness period. Much, much healthier, happier city. Topping over 6,000 in population. It's good to see. Good to see that improvement there. I can hear lots of pings of buildings upgrading. Not quite sure where it's happening. And let's just take a look at our commercial district now. And oh wow, doesn't this look great? Proper commercial districts with lots of car park spaces. There's an electric car being used. That tiny, tiny little thing on the left there, the pink car. We are starting to see some of those cars filter through into the city. Nice charging station just there next door. Electric version of a petrol station, a gas station, depending on where you are in the world. Some really nice looking buildings here. We've even got a new version of a big bite look. That's kind of cool. Soy and lentils. Oh, look at this building. What is that? That's a hotel. Or hostel. Some larger buildings over here. shop till you drop. Organic corn, sustainable cuisine. Our little strawberry district certainly living up to its kind of eco name there. And you can see our residential district here starting to come good. We need to start putting in some recycling centres, don't we? Help reduce our trash levels a bit. Let's move here. Now you can see that they will produce, the purple outline is the sort of pollution area, and then the red ring on the interior is the noise pollution ring. So that's how near to the building, if you're in that sort of inner circle, that's how you'll be affected by the noise pollution. But obviously the more problematic one is the purple one, which is the pollution level. It's quite low in comparison to standard stuff, but it's still obviously an issue that we want to try and deal with. I'm just trying to figure out where to actually stick all of our recycle centres. Makes sense to kind of put them over here for now, wouldn't it? Let's put one in just there. So there you can see is our new recycle centre, complete with sort of cardboard skips, waste skips, bottle banks, sorting areas. It's great that we've finally got those. They will make a big difference. Not just in terms of, you know, the gameplay, but just a visual difference as well, to be able to actually have proper recycling centres. I mean, they're commonplace these days, so it makes sense that we now finally have the opportunity to use them. And we have enough cash for our second power plant, so let's drop that in. There we go, and let's delete those. And that's going to cut down on our costs quite a bit, because we're not going to have to import the coal to run them. It's also going to really clean up our energy production. And on top of that, it's going to get rid of all that ground pollution. Yeah, I mean, look, these are clean energy producing sources, so no pollution over here, which is great. Just harmless steam being vented out into the atmosphere. We will look at getting a third one when we need to, sort of in that spot just there. And turn that into a sort of a geothermal zone over there. And that frees this area up for extra sort of industry. Speaking of which, check my district tool. Yes, okay, so we can now look at adding in a little bit of extra space over here if we need it. Kind of want these roads to kind of run level. Bring that one down like that, I suppose. Let's take that one out. That could be placed better, I think. Yeah, just bring it straight down. There we go. So we've got a nice bit of area to expand into. We've got a little bit of a demand for some more industry, which is causing industry to be built over here. I want to try and avoid that. So let's go to zoning. Let's actually take this industry out from here and relocate this so we don't pollute the edges of these residential bits over here any more than we have to. And let's expand our industry area over here. In these areas, like so. What we can also do is just rework that district ever so slightly. Just push it up to the top like that. Just run across into here as well, come down like that. Good stuff. We need to expand our water network slightly. We don't have coverage in these newer bits that we've built. Oh, we don't have coverage at all. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. Figure out the best way for me to expand our pipe network. Straight down the centre here, I think. If it'll let me go straight down the centre. No, it won't. Okay, alright, let's play it safe then. Let's go there. Go straight down. Just connect that up. And we'll do the same over here. Spacing about right. There we go. We need more commercial zones as well. We've really filled up Strawberry District. So where else can we place a good block of commercial? We could go here, but I kind of like to put some residential in there. So I think down here. That's Spring Hills. That's our eco district, isn't it? We've got some commercial here. Let's run commercial down the centre here, I think. A little bit of random industry left over there, look. There we go. Let's make those residential. We can reclaim this area now that the pollution levels have gone down. And we've moved all that filthy industry out of the way. Let's go with the painting tool, actually, I think. There we go. Just speed that process up a touch. There we go. More demand for industry. We have plenty of space for it over here. And let's take a look at our pollution levels with that policy enacted. It does look as though, there's still a heavy pollution footprint, as you can see, but it does look as though the sort of levels around this building, these buildings themselves, is a lot lower than it was before. That's good to see that it looks as though that particular sort of anti-pollution policy is having some effect. It may be another one of those ones that takes a long time to kick in properly, but it is coming along nicely. I'm looking to see if we've got a lot more electric cars here. And the answer at the moment doesn't seem to be yes, it seems to be quite definitely no. I'm seeing the odd electric car here and there. But still an awful lot of standard cars. Oh no, we've got hybrids there. Look, that's the Model 5. So maybe that's like a Tesla. No, not a Tesla, sorry. More like a Prius or something like that, I suppose. That's electric as well. Oh, so they are actually switching over. That's just a standard station wagon, but yeah. We are getting some sort of good electric car ownership. It gets a bit confusing actually trying to tell which ones are which. I bet that's a gas guzzling car, isn't it? Yeah. We've got a VW Beetle, a flower power hippie VW Beetle, and it's got to go because it's not it's not environmentally friendly. So that will have to disappear out the district. What's our levels looking like? Still meeting those demand requirements. That's good. Got a non-new buildings going up, so I'm going to add that while we've got the cash. I'm going to add that extra power plant in now. Oh, look at that, just in time as well. Our power getting dangerously close to maximum consumption levels. That gives us a lot more breathing room. There we go. What's the fill level here? 47%, 22%. Well, I'll tell you what, let's empty this one into there, and then we can delete that, hopefully. There's one over here as well, isn't there? There it is. Oh, that's at 96%. Ooh. We might have to build another one of these. I don't think we've got... We're not far off getting the incineration plants, so that'll help. We could do with another recycle centre or two, I think. Let's stick one of these... over here, out of the way, a little bit. Make sure it's powered. It is. Make sure it's got water. It has. Excellent stuff. That'll help deal with our potential problem that we're going to have with too much waste being produced. And let's go to policies and implement a city-wide policy on recycled plastics. Look at the difference here. Look how calm and peaceful and serene it is. And then we move over to here. I mean, that's for commercials a bit. Here we go, let's move here. And it just feels a little bit more busy over here. Feels a little bit, maybe a little bit noisier. But it just feels so peaceful and serene. Look at all those trees as well. These buildings are upgrading. So what are the... There we go, it's about to rebuild. And the bird song as well. So much bird song. It's very cool, I have to say. I do like the visual aspect of this new low density, and you can do this with high density as well. You can make high density eco areas as well. So just look at the difference visually there against over here. I mean, there's a lot more colour in this area, but it's all kind of a little bit more higgledy-piggledy. And you move over here and it's a lot more kind of generic in their colours because the buildings are all very similar, but there's also a lot more vegetation as well, a lot more bird noise, a lot more wildlife sounds. Very, very cool. Right, let's see if we can improve the districts a little bit with some parks as well. We've got some new parks with green cities as well. So we have a floating cafe, we have a fishing island, we have a tropical garden, would you believe? We also have a new tennis court. Now this is not part of the DLC, I believe this is part of the update, you know, the free update that went out a couple of weeks ago. But we can stick a tennis court in, and I'm going to use that little space there, why not? Stick a tennis court in, Look at the change in leisure happiness, and look at the number of buildings that are going to start pinging and upgrading. And see a little game of tennis going on just there. And here, the pinging of all these buildings leveling up and upgrading. I can see construction happening all over the district. Some of these new buildings do look brilliant, I have to say. Even our industry, even our commercial buildings are getting an upgrade as well. Let's see if we can actually apply a commercial specialisation at the same time. I think we can. And there we go. We've hit our first milestone. 7,500 people. What's that unlocked? A new tile. New taxation policies. Some level 5 unique buildings. The blimp. The metro. The IT cluster. Office specialisation. That's another new thing with Green Cities. You can now have IT specialised buildings which can create some huge, great big skyscrapers. Leisure specialisation's been unlocked. Education stuff. More taxi stuff. Lightning rods. VIP areas. High density's been unlocked. We've got the incineration plant, so we can now deal with our trash problem. With our fastly filling up landfills. We can get rid of those. Anything else new that's unlocked? Apart from Fishing Island unlocked. Modern Technology Institute is new. There are new school buildings as well. We'll go through those in a moment. We check our education stuff. So we've unlocked quite a few cool little bits and bobs there. First thing I want to do though is make sure we can get this trash dealt with. So just here, I'm going to stick in temporarily couple of incineration plants just to help deal with our landfills. You can see that one's full, so we definitely need to empty that to another facility, and I want to empty this to another facility as well now. So our trash should now get sent all the way over to our incineration plants. It'll take a while to burn through all of that trash, but as soon as it is done we can delete those landfills out. You can see the pollution starting to spread quite quickly now. I'm getting a little concerned. What do I need to get the garbage collectors in? 17,000. We need to add 10,000 more people into our city. So we need to start building, and we need to start building quick. Also got a need for more industry. That's potentially a little problematic. Let's hope that's going to be enough for now. And let's look at start expanding residential stuff over here. I think, or maybe down here actually. Yeah, let's come down this way. Let's go freeform. Come down towards what is unfortunately at the moment quite a polluted water area, but going forward should be quite a nice little area. Kind of create some kind of spokes coming off the side of this road, I suppose. don't want them to be, you know, perfectly close. We'll actually make this into a little commercial block, I think, potentially. Actually, this road is a bit rubbish, isn't it? Alright, let's start this again. Let's change the way we just bring that extension in. And we'll pause so we don't waste the money as well. So let's go freeform. So I want a road that kind of runs around the lake a little bit. It's not particularly appealing at the moment, but going forward I'm hoping that that will be a nice bit of real estate. Try to create a little bit of a gap between our areas as well, so that if I need to put a footpath in or upgrade a road type, then I've got a little bit of space to do that without losing zoning space. Let's bring a road up this way. And we're going to look to connect this up. Like that. There we go. And now we can bring some roads out across here as well if we want to. Create some little areas for maybe a park or something. Probably going to want to have straight road coming off here. There we go. Go with freestyling again. There we go. Try to create this, hopefully what's going to become quite a nice little area around the edge of this pond. You know, we need to clean this up, and we need to get our population up by another, well, 9 and a bit thousand to be able to do that. So we are going to have to kind of push on a little bit. We need to bring this road down to connect up. In fact, let's put a nice straight connection in there, and then use that to then connect around this way. There we go. So now we've got two kind of ways in and out of this little area. Now I want to kind of have roads that kind of sweep across almost like a rib cage in a way, I suppose. They're all going to bend around from one road onto the other. Like that. And these ones are going to be quite close. This gives me the flexibility to maybe do commercial or residential with those. There we go. We'll have residential along here. And I'll look to connect that up there. There we go. And let's see if we can bring those side streets around this way as well. Oh yes, we can. Look at that. We're going to get some interesting shapes for some of our buildings as well with these on this inside of these curves. Kind of curious to see what kind of buildings will pop up in their place. Let's open that one out a little bit. There we go. That's a nice little bit of an expansion over here. Interesting. Some different shapes. It's not a kind of a uniform grid system that we so often tend to fall back on. But it's still kind of grid-like, just a little bit more organic, a little bit more natural. We need to pipe this as well, so let's get a water supply figured in. You know what? I want to kind of... Can I build... No, I was going to say... I didn't think I could. Just wondering if I could build free flow pipes, but I can't. Kind of locked to a standard design. You know, straight lines. Expect as much. But if I build a kind of a curved piece like that, it means I don't have to take these pipes all the way down to the bottom like I would before. I can look at changing that a little bit. Going almost a little bit more freestyle with the pipes. Again, I generally tend to build my pipes very, very regimented, I suppose. You know, always following a very strict kind of grid pattern, just to minimise the amount of money I spend on pipes. But I'm going to try and do things a little bit differently this time here as well. Find a line to lock onto. There we go. Alright, there we go. There's our new district. Kind of piped. Need to make sure it's connected. Do that just here, nice and simply. I'm just looking at our sewage. We're almost at capacity on sewage. I'm going to up the water budget a little bit. We're still making really good money, so I can afford to spend a little bit more on my economy tab here. So let's up the water to 125, and do the same for the night shift as well. We're okay for power because we've just added in that brand new power facility. Ah, look at that. Our first one of these landfills is empty, so we can demolish that. That'll please the people around here and stop leaching some of that pollutant into the ground as well. And let's start to zone our new ground over here. So let's figure out where we want the commercial to be, and I think this road through here makes a good kind of main commercial road that's going to run through the whole area. I need to paint some district tools with this. Excuse me, there we go. Do I want to bring that down here as well? No, probably not. Might have a little bit of commercial over here actually. I was going to maybe put parks here, but I like the idea of that being a little commercial block just there, like that. That works quite well, I think. One way in, one way out, perhaps not the best. About that. Yeah, I can get away with that. That's a lot of residential. That's not enough commercial. We're going to need more. So we can look at adding some more in over here, perhaps. Like so. I'm going to make this one big district as well, so that we can apply all those eco policies to this district. Keep it separate from our sort of hills districts that we have over there. There we go. Let's just switch to a larger tool now. Back to a small one. We'll clean up the edges of our district a little bit. There we go, and we can look, now that we've got this kind of shoreline property opening up as well, especially once the water is cleaner, we can look at maybe putting in some of those new fishing and touristy kind of activity things over here on the waterfront. You know, there's a floating cafe, I think, as well as a fishing tour thing. That's part of the new policy stuff, so we can look at implementing those. Let's try and clean this edge up again. There we go. That's better. And then same again along here. Let's just clean that up. There we go. So, Sunnyside Heights, let's get some policies in here. If we go with our commercial and I want to have organic, and I also want, in terms of residential, I want that to be self-sustaining. What else do I want to do? I want to go to districts here. I want to go to policies. Let's just choose European suburbia in this district. See if we get different style of buildings. I want to go with recycling, smoke detector distribution, water meters, power usage. I mean, they're probably not going to use that much power anyway. They are going to be self-sustaining houses. So, parks and rec boosts. I'm going to put a lot of policies in here. Recycle plastic is there. City planning. I want to encourage biking. Electric cars. I'm not going to put any industry in here, so don't need to filter industrial waste. Okay. There we go. Let's open up the district for business. Lots and lots of policies in this area. It's going to be a while, I think, before people do actually move in here, but at least we'll have everything sort of set in place. What's our water situation looking like now we've made those budget increases? It's gone back up in terms of our output and input capabilities a little bit. Got to be careful though, got to keep an eye on that. There's no real demand at the moment for extra stuff that we haven't got. Oh, that's the point. We're going to need service buildings, etc., aren't we? So we're going to need education. Let's take a look at the new school buildings. We have a new community school, which is the replacement for the elementary. Let's see, where should we put the school? Makes sense to put it kind of centrally, wouldn't it? Let's put it here, so it's also kind of near to our other districts. There's a school in there as well already. Look, okay, there's lots of these schools dotted all around the place. We also have a new secondary school, new high school. It's quite a big building, as you can see. Plonk that one just there. We also have a new university type, which is the Modern Technology Institute. I suppose we could do with one of those somewhere, but not yet. We don't need one of those just yet. We also have, if I go to health, a brand new health building, which is the sports hall. We don't have the money for that. That's quite expensive. 120,000 was very expensive. I had no idea it was that pricey. I just need a little bit more power. Come on. I don't want to build in zonable areas. Oh, I didn't zone any of this in, did I? Oh, what a muppet. No wonder. Again, let's paint all of this in. We pretty much already decided where we want all of our commercial stuff to go, and we can always tweak those individually a little bit later. So we'll just paint the district. There we go. We're going to need some police and fire services down here. That much is a given. So we'll put fire there, and police next door. Going to want a health centre. Oops, it's a hospital. Health centre just there. Get a graveyard in position somewhere. I won't quite fit there. That's a bit of a shame. What about over here, perhaps? Yeah, I'll stick a graveyard over there. We've got power connection issues at the moment for quite a few things. That's to be expected. But as stuff starts to spawn in, it'll link up. You can see we've got some residential houses starting to come good now. There's our new high school, our new secondary education system. Here's our new primary school, the community school, which is a very big but very pretty building. Not quite sure about that one. It does look a little bit weird. And that is where we're going to end our episode today. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob. I'll be back with some more Green Cities very soon.